Fame. It's so dangerous, yet so coveted. What could be good about it? Let's discuss. For many years, I wanted to be famous. Not for the sake of fame itself, but because I've always thought that my ideas meant something. That sounds super conceited, but hear me out. If you Let's be honest here, you probably see multiple people semi-regularly that kind of make you want to thank your parents for helping you learn how to use your own brain, regardless of what your relationship with them is. If you found your way to this video, the chances are you probably think a little bit like me already. There are many people out there who you can just watch how they act and just know that there's not a whole lot going on up there. And if you've noticed, being rich doesn't automatically mean that you're smart. There's a certain type of entrepreneurial rich that requires intelligence, but especially not Nepo rich. The same goes for being famous. We're talking about all levels of fame here. From having a YouTube channel or an X account with a few thousand followers, to having your own reality television show or being a chart-topping artist. And you wonder how so many people support what they do, consume their brands, and engage on their platforms. That's because there's a lot of people out there that are not using their brain. So my desire came from a few things. You see, a lot of my role models growing up were specifically music artists and producers, right? Like Brandon Heath, Adam Young, Andrew Huang, and a lot of bands in the 2000s. And then a lot of YouTube artists in the 2010s. So naturally, I leaned toward desiring the type of lifestyle that they appeared to have. To me, that was touring, making cool videos and songs, and being adored for them, and having a disposable income for doing what they're good at. Because in my mind, if you're that well known, you must be that well off financially, right? Although I am accustomed to being the center of attention, the adoration and validation part of fame, thankfully, wasn't ever the thing that I was focused on. Because what I thought growing up was that these people had to have made their way to fame because of their exceptional talent, skill, and hard work. Obviously, that's not always the case, but this is what began to motivate me. So my thought process was, I will become famous because I'm working hard on something I'm passionate about, and if I'm doing it well, then people will recognize me for it. Because my interests are in something that's publicized innately. So I've grown up, and it's not something that I desire much at all anymore. But here and there, I still have a healthy dose of wanting people to recognize my efforts and the things that I create, because look at what I did. But more importantly, the way I see fame is being a tool of reach. I mentioned last episode that the way I look at wealth is that it's an extension of what's in your heart. Yeah, same thing here. I personally have an intrinsic ability and desire to teach, be it a subject I'm well versed in that I actually create a class for, training the new employee, or giving someone a helpful tip that gets them results more effectively. I live to see the aha moment in people's eyes, and I think I'm dang good at conveying ideas. So circling back to the stupidity that I mentioned at the start of the video, for one, I try not to call it that in real time because I try to have the mindset of helpfulness rather than condemnation, and I want people to hear me out. But secondly, because I see myself as a person with above average intelligence and wisdom, I make it my mission to share that wherever and however I can, but my words about broader topics toward a broader audience won't make it that far without some innate level of fame. Now let's address the dangers of it. For you Christians watching the video, this is likely the part you've been waiting for. What it breaks down to is this duality. A, mankind has an inherent desire to seek validation, wealth, and power. And B, mankind has an inherent desire to worship and idolize something or someone. Both are evil. If you have this ignorant idea that mankind is born good, you are about to click off of this video so fast. The first one is more obvious and easier to admit. There are selfish, prideful, power-hungry, evil people out there. A heart that goes many years unchecked and is not held accountable just ends up this way. Even the upright still fall because you may have noticed selfish acts don't have to be taught. Good habits do. The second one is less spoken about in this way, but is the root from which adoration, obsession, and addiction stems from. Our bodies were created this way for the purpose of worshiping the Creator. But thanks to free will and the fall of man, for every good thing that God designed to be good, there is a wicked and corrupt counterpart. Our worship and adoration features get redirected toward an esteemed human individual, Our obsession and addiction features get redirected toward really cool trinkets and toys that give us the false sense of security and independence, which eventually convinces us that we don't, in fact, need Yeshua. This is called idolization or idolatry, when suddenly anything but God becomes your God. So what's the point? Is fame bad or not? Although I'm creating a 10-minute video essay about it, the answer is really not that deep. Our desire to be famous is probably for the most part bad, yeah. But having reach can be good if you have good and valuable things to offer with said reach. Actually, every time I think of this subject, I remember going to like a Q&A thing when I went to see 10th Avenue North live, and Mike Donaghy, the lead singer of 10th Avenue North, said, I must have been like 15. So this was almost 15 years ago. In a Q&A, someone asked, I want to be famous, like, how did you get famous? Or like, how did you get there? And like, what do you have to do to be famous? Or what? Something like pretty silly and shallow, because it was like a teenager who asked it. And Mike Donaghy said, okay, there's no reason to desire being famous, essentially. Like, Mike Donaghy sitting up there being famous goes, there's no point in being famous. See, my position of fame is literally just like a byproduct of what I've been doing. And the goal is to be good and to follow God, right? And like, whether you're famous or not, you can still make the same decisions to like do good actions. And fame is just another platform to do that. And there is no reason to seek fame for the sake of fame. Fame is simply the byproduct of what you're doing. So that story wasn't in my script, and I just thought of it while I was filming this, and I realized that my whole script is basically just scripted around that core memory. So yeah, basically just affirming everything I'm saying in this video. Or am I just affirming everything that he said like 15 years ago? And my final thought about the subject of fame is influencers. As an influencer myself, I want to crawl out of my skin just saying that word. There are not many other things about the internet that I hate more than attention seekers. And being the internet, there are a lot of those. No, I take that back. There are like definitely way worse things on the internet. But anyway, attention seekers, whether it's saying something knowing that it's controversial just for the sake of engagement, or it's posting your face and body and doing nothing substantial or skillful, those are the biggest ones. Like, what are you doing with that leverage? Once you hit a status, then what? I know people in real life who have the desire to blow up on TikTok or YouTube. For what? If you have a niche, that's one thing. Like, yes, share your joy of disc golfing and take us on your courses and show what brands of discs you buy and all that. Like, that's not what I'm calling out right now. If you're just a person, just a plain, boring person with no personality, and what in your content is gossip or pictures of where you went last weekend or what food you're eating, genuinely, what is your goal? I can't even fathom having a platform with thousands of followers and just doing nothing meaningful. Like, does it feel good to have a lot of likes and comments? Does that high ever die for you? Like, what have you achieved? Why do you want our attention? Is there something about your life that you want us to strive for? If there's nothing going on up there, why are you flaunting it? Like, how could you? I just, like, I could ask this question all day. Like, you just, like, imagine just, like, you're just making breakfast and you're like, you just wake up and you're like, 10,000 people are watching my videos. That's so cool. And then that's it. That's it. That's just like, yep, I got a lot of people watching me. Watching you do what, man? Like, why do you want that many people just watching you? Like, that's so weird. That's so weird, dude. Our culture is so weird. Okay. This is just turning into a rant. This wasn't the point of the video. All I'm saying is that I'm not seeking it out. I'm not seeking out fame. But if fame does ever find me, I would be pleasantly surprised, but not blindsided. Like, I would not be shocked if I one day became famous because I've been doing this YouTube thing consistently and I've been making music and all this stuff. I've been prepared, and I know how to use it, and I wouldn't let you guys down. I hope. So yeah, use your platform to spread edifying things. Things that grow people and teach people and help them have better lives. Alright? That sounds like a no-brainer, but bro, the amount of people that have access to platforms and have free will and have the right to their own opinion, but oh man, are some of them very bad. Alright, bye.